Hello, this is Trish Kelly, Data Manager for Federal Programs and Oversight. Welcome to the Title I Data Mini Webinar. Our work in the department is guided by the Best for All strategic plan, which focuses on academics, student readiness, and educators. Our agenda today begins with Title I K-12 determination. Next, we'll explore Title I PreK determination. It is important to keep in mind that two determinations differ. We'll also review how to use the Title I K-12 and Title I preschool lists to identify Title I programs in your district. We'll also look at the student classifications research query, which we'll use to check your Title I-T student classification. Now, there are a small number of schools that have Title I targeted assistance K-12 programs. For these schools, in addition to the Title I-T student classification, they're also going to be submitting instructional and support service data to EIS. We'll review how to use the Targeted Assistance List research query to review that data. We'll conclude with suggestions for after the session and contact information. Title I K-12 determination. Again, it's very important to keep in mind that this section and this discussion, we're focusing on students enrolled in K-12. We'll discuss pre-K students separately, and the two determinations differ. So for Title I K-12, there are three types of schools: Title I school-wide, Title I targeted assistance, and non-Title I. In Title I school-wide schools, students enrolled in grades K through 12 are Title I and are coded with a Title I-T student classification. The program is school-wide. It applies to all students enrolled in grades K through 12. In Title I targeted assistance schools, by contrast, the Title I services are targeted. So only those students enrolled in grades K through 12 who receive Title I targeted assistance, instructional, or support services are Title I and are coded with a Title I-T student classification. In non-Title I schools, no students enrolled in grades K through 12 are Title I, and none are coded with the Title I-T student classification. We're going to look at examples at each type of schools. In this first slide, we're looking at School A. School A is a Title I school-wide school. There are 400 students enrolled in grades K through 12. All 400 students are Title I and are coded with the Title I-T student classification because it is a school-wide program. However, there is one exception, and that is for special education walk-ins. Private school, homeschool, and preschool students receiving only special education services in Title I school-wide schools are not Title I and should not be coded with a Title I-T student classification. For additional information on special education walk-ins, please contact zachary.stone@tn.gov. Okay, our example 2 here for School B. Now, School B has a Title I targeted assistance program. 300 students are enrolled in grades K through 12. The 100 students who receive Title I funded instructional or support services are Title I and coded with the Title I-T student classification. The other 200 students are not Title I and they're not coded with the Title I-T student classification. Finally, there are K through 12 schools that are not Title I. School C does not have a Title I program. 500 students are enrolled in grades K through 12. None of those students are coded as Title I-T because there are no Title I students in the school. Now turning to Title I PreK determination. It's very important to keep in mind that most PreK students, even those in Title I school-wide schools, are not Title I. So just to keep that in mind, it's very important. So out of the 1,200 or so Title I schools, Title I school-wide schools, Only 60 to 90, depending on the year, have Title I funded preschool classes. So most preschool students in Title I school-wide schools are not Title I because they're not being served in Title I funded classes. So, how does a student become a Title I pre-K student? Well, it depends on whether Title I funds support the class and the student. In a Title I funded preschool class, all of the preschool students enrolled in the class are Title I because Title I funds support the class and all students enrolled in it. In Title I funded targeted assistance preschool classes, the services are targeted. So only those pre-K students supported by Title I targeted assistance funds are Title I. In state, local, grant, and IDA funded preschool classes, no students are Title I T because Title I funds do not support the class and no students in the class. Again, we'll look at examples of each type of school, starting with School D. School D is a Title I school, and it has a preschool class that is funded by Title I. All 20 students enrolled in that class are Title I students and are coded with a Title I T student classification. Now, if School D had other preschool classes that were not funded by Title I, then none of the students in those classes would be Title I. Okay, next turning to Title I targeted assistance preschool classes. In this case, we're looking at School E. School E has a Title I targeted assistance preschool class, and 25 students are enrolled in the class. Of those 25, the 15 students who receive services funded by Title I are Title I students and coded with a Title I T student classification. The other 10 students are not supported by Title I funds and therefore are not Title I students. Finally, non-Title I preschool classes, and this is the great majority of preschool classes. Preschool students enrolled in state, local, grant, IDA-funded preschool classes are not Title I. School F has a preschool class that is not funded by Title I. 30 students are enrolled in the class, but none of the students are Title I, and none of them are coded as Title I T. It's important to check the Title I K through 12 and Title I preschool list to identify the schools that support K through 12 and preschool students with Title I funds. You will find the Title I K through 12 and Title I pre-K school preschool lists in ePlan. Follow the pathway TDOE resources, Title I schools in Tennessee, and search by year. You may also check your LEA's Consolidated Funding Application, the CFA. LEAs identify Title I K-12 schools and Title I funded pre-K classes in their CFAs. Typically, at the beginning of the school year, I will also email you LEA contacts, the district's, the Title I K-12 list and the Title I preschool list. If you don't receive that and you have questions, please do contact me. Now we'll explore the student classifications research query. First, you will log in to EIS as a school or district user. Next, select data reports and research queries. From the from the research query list, select student classifications. Select year and 2022 for the 22-23 school year. From the student classifications drop-down list, select Title I T to limit your search to Title I students. To run the query, select View Report. To download in CSV or Excel format, use the file icon to the right of Find Next. The query results follow a standard format. School and student identifiers are on the left. The Title I T student classification is on the right. In this segment, we'll now focus on K through 12 programs in Title I targeted assistance schools. There are typically about a handful of schools each year that have Title I targeted assistance programs for K through 12 students. And in these schools, only those students in grades K through 12 who receive Title I funded instructional or support services or Title I. These students are coded with the Title I T student classification, and in addition, they're flagged once for each instructional or support service received, regardless of the frequency or duration of the service. To check your data in EIS, again, log in as a school or LEA user, select Data Reports and Research Queries. From the Research Query list, select Targeted Assistance List. Typically, you'll want to search by school, perhaps all schools, if all schools offer targeted assistance programs in your districts, but that doesn't tend to be the case. To run the query, select View Report. To download as a CSV or Excel file, again, select the file icon to the right of Find Next. And what you should see is a Y for at least one instructional or support service for students identified as Title I T in Title I targeted assistance schools. And then N should appear for all instructional and support services for students not identified as Title I T and Title I targeted assistance schools. So as an example, if we think back to that School B that we discussed earlier in the session, School B has a Title I targeted assistance program for K through 12 students. 300 students are enrolled in grades K through 12. 100 of them were identified as Title I, that is, students receiving Title I funded instructional or support services. So that for those 100 students, they should have a Y appear for each instructional service and support service that's funded by Title I. And the other students in those schools would have an N appear for all instructional and support services because none of those students are Title I T. We'll conclude with a few suggestions for after the session. First, it's important to regularly collaborate with your colleagues in attendance, technology, federal programs, and other teams to ensure that your data are coded properly. Frequently check your data in your student information system in EIS and upload revisions as needed. Sometimes you're going to find that the data are complete in your SIS, but not in EIS. So it's important to check your data regularly and upload revisions as needed. For additional departmental resources, please refer to the FPO Data Manual. You'll find it in ePlan in the TDOE Resources folder that does not require a login, it's important to note, and also on the department's Planning and Monitoring Guidance and Reference Materials webpage. We'll close with contact information. If you have questions about Title I data and coding, please contact me, Trish Kelly, at trish.kelly@tn.gov. For questions about EIS errors and restaging problems, please contact the District Technology Support Team at dt.support@tn.gov. Thank you very much for joining me in this session. I hope it was helpful to you.